Other nicknames we should be aware of some of these players this upcoming year?
We got C.J. Hayes. We call him Scooter.
Why Scooter?
Why Scooter? We call him Scooter because of how he be running. He be scooting real fast. He be moving though. We got Larice. He got a couple names. We call him Pooh. We call him Freaky Reese because his move's so freaky you can't even catch him. And that's about it.
Thanks, Darrell.
You got it.
Darrell, I want to ask you about a couple of guys. First of all, Brian was unable to work this offseason much because he was injured, which is totally understandable. He had to get well. It wasn't like he was being lazy. How's he looked so far in camp?
Brian Lewerke, right?
Yeah.
Man, once again, talking about a phenomenal guy who's went through adversity, but at the same time, I mean, he's shaking back. You can see his confidence just keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. And that's one thing that I'm liking about seeing with Brian. There's nothing really can tear him down. And then one thing about him, as he was off in the offseason, as he wasn't being able to come out there to work, he was in the training room constantly, and he was in the weight room constantly trying to get back. And he's always been a vocal leader on and off the field. So I just feel like he's just been looking so good. You can see his confidence through the roof, taking control of the huddle, which he always had. He's just a great guy.
Now, Rocky went to a couple quarterback gurus this offseason and did some work all over the country. How's he looked?
Man, Rocky looked beautiful, man. The blonde hair and the strong arm, man, the guy looked like Superman, but he's just out there making plays, man. That's one thing I like about Rocky. He's constantly making plays, constantly doing the things that mean to make plays happen, being a ball player.
Good for you. What do you like? I know I'm not asking you to tell us what's changed in the offense because you're not going to do that. But are you liking the changes, and are they things that appeal to Darrell Stewart?
Definitely. I mean, one thing in life you got to expect is change. Change is always going to happen in life, and one thing you do got to do, you got to adapt to change. And the changes that they did make, I mean, we like them and we rolling with them. I mean, things not going to always be the same, so it's not about, you know what I'm saying, what's changing. We adapting to what's going on, and I feel like what we doing is we grasping the whole opportunity to be able to come out and play football again, and just happy to see it.
How are you handling the change? I mean, you were recruited by Coach Sam, and now you got a new wide receiver coach. Is it not really that big of a change?
I mean, not really. I mean, I'm still close with Coach Sam, and as I'm still close with Coach Treddy. I mean, it's two wonderful guys, two guys that care about what you're doing in your life and see what's wrong with you, and seeing how they can fix your life values and the core things about life. And they just phenomenal coaches as well. I mean, the changes was not up on the players, it was on the coaches, and we 110% behind Coach D and anything he do. So once the changes made, we just roll with it and stick with it.
Talked about the energy being different. Maybe it's not from a technique or coaching standpoint too different, but some of the other guys are talking about how it was just the energy is renewed around here. Do you feel that?
Definitely, I definitely do. I mean, especially coming from last year, you got a lot of guys that learned from last year. And one of the things you got to understand that, I mean, the energy is bursting through the roof just because we get another chance to come out and prove ourselves. And I see the confidence of so many people just jumping, everybody happy. I mean, everybody just honestly want to go out here and just prove people wrong from last year, who's the doubters and the naysayers.
So more of a sense of urgency then, do you feel?
Definitely a lot of sense of urgency. You see guys who just constantly want to make plays and constantly running to the ball. I mean, one thing Coach D is really preaching right now is that when the ball is downfield, you got to have downfield blockers, and you seeing wide receivers, running backs, O-linemen running to blocks downfield. It's just a wonderful thing to see in the game of football.
And what is he? I know Felton's your guy. What is it like without him? Starting spring football here.
I mean, it is kind of weird just being without him. But he called me most of the time. We joking around on the phone, and one thing he always tells me that, even though he's not here, even though Felton's not here, that I got to still take that mentality. It's just having fun, being a kid on the field. And that's one thing he told me about.
How are you better? What did you do this offseason to get better?
Honestly, I just worked on certain things like speed, catching, basically.
I heard you spent a ton of time on the jugs machine. Is that true?
I got to. They don't pay me for my feet, they pay me for my hands now, so I always got to keep strong hands. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. The ball come up in the air, it leaves the responsibility of the quarterback, and that's my responsibility, so I just go after the ball.
Are you and Cody kind of the main voices in that wide receiver room right now, then?
Yeah, right now you can kind of tell we kind of more so the older guys, but one thing I like about our wide receiver room, it's not a dictatorship. If anybody feel like they need something to say or feel like they need to address something, guys just step up and say it, and that's the beauty of, the wide receiver room.